If you are watching a movie right now, or maybe you're deep into a video game, I've got a secret for you. Almost every single sound you're hearing, the footsteps, the explosions, that metallic clang, it was all created artificially. It's a sonic illusion designed to pull you right into the story.
It really is. Sound designers are basically magicians. They blend complex physics with some really bizarre creative tricks.
And a ton of technology.
Got a ton of technology. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how they do it. We'll get into the science of sound and the secret techniques they use to make these fictional worlds feel completely real.
Okay, let's start with the basics. To control sound, you have to know what it is. And it's all around us, but you can't see it. So what is sound at its core?
At its core, sound is energy. Pure energy that travels as a vibration.
Or vibration.
Yeah, when anything moves, a guitar string, your vocal cords, a drum head, it physically pushes the air molecules around it. It's just transferring energy.
So if a drummer hits a snare, the drum skin vibrates, and that sends out like a ripple in the air.
Exactly, a ripple effect. That energy moves through the air in waves, but not like ocean waves. We call them longitudinal waves.
Longitudinal, that just means they move back and forth in the same direction the wave is traveling, right?
Precisely. The best way to picture it is a slinky toy.
Oh, yeah. If you push one end of a slinky, you see that little bunch up, that compression, travel all the way to the other side.
That's it. That compression and stretching is exactly what sound does to air molecules. Our ears are just incredibly sensitive detectors for those tiny changes in air pressure.
And these waves move fast. I mean, really fast. Under normal conditions, sound travels at about 767 miles per hour.
Which is why you always see a firework explode before you hear the boom. The light gets to you almost instantly, but the sound has to travel.
But that speed isn't constant, is it?
No. And this is where the physics really matters for the artists. The temperature of the air changes everything. If it's hotter, the molecules are already moving faster, so the sound travels faster. If it's colder, it slows down.
That's fascinating. So, okay, if you want to control sound, the two big things you always hear about are pitch and volume. Let's start with pitch. When we say a sound is high or low, what are we actually describing?
You're describing its frequency. Frequency is just the number of vibrations, those back and forth cycles that happen every single second. We measure it in hertz.
So a super fast vibration means a high frequency.
Right, and that gives you a high-pitched sound. Think of a whistle.
And a slow vibration.
A slow, lazy vibration is a low frequency.
Yeah.
That gives you a deep, rumbling sound, like thunder or, a big bass drum.
And this is something sound designers use all the time. If they want a monster to sound absolutely huge, they pack in those super low frequencies.
They do. It's a psychological trick. Our brains associate those low rumbles with massive, powerful things. It feels threatening.
But how do they keep it from just sounding like mud? If it's too low, doesn't it lose all its detail?
That's the art of it. They'll layer that deep rumble with something sharp and high frequency, like the sound of scraping rocks, to give it texture and a cutting edge.
Ah, I see. Okay, so that brings us to the other key part, volume.
Right. How loud a sound is. And that's all about the energy in the wave, which we call amplitude.
So amplitude is basically the height of the sound wave.
Exactly. A small, gentle vibration creates a wave with a low amplitude, a quiet sound. A really aggressive, forceful vibration creates a wave with a high amplitude, carrying way more energy.
And that's what our ears perceive as a louder noise.
Yep, we measure that in decibels, or dB. And this is actually a safety thing, too. A lot of people don't know that any sound over 85 decibels, that's about as loud as heavy city traffic, can start to cause permanent hearing damage if you're exposed to it for too long.
Wow. And in movies, they use this to create a sense of motion, right? Like something is coming right at you.
Oh, absolutely. They'll just steadily increase the amplitude, making the sound louder and louder, and our brain instantly interprets that as a threat getting closer and closer.
This is where things get really creative, though. We've talked about the physics, but most of the everyday sounds in movies, someone putting a glass on a table, keys jingling, they aren't real.
Not from the original shoot, no. They're the work of a Foley artist.
The unsung hero of the movie world.
Totally. A Foley artist watches the movie on a screen and recreates all those everyday sounds live in a studio, matching the actor's movements perfectly. It's named after an early sound pioneer, Jack Foley.
And the things they use to make these sounds are just wild. They're not recording the real thing. They're recording something that sounds better than the real thing.
It's all about control. Take footsteps. If an actor is walking on a gravel path,
They're not going to a gravel path.
no, they'll have a shallow box, like a little pit filled with gravel right there in the studio. They'll just walk in place in the box while watching the screen.
What about something like rain? That seems impossible to record cleanly.
For a light mist, they might just use a spray bottle near the microphone. For a heavier, sizzling rain on a hot street, they might literally be frying bacon in a pan.
No way!
Yes, the popping and crackling of the fat sounds exactly like heavy raindrops hitting a hot surface.
Okay, what about the really cringy stuff? The sound of, like, breaking bones in an action movie.
Oh, that's a classic. It's almost always snapping big stalks of celery. Celery. Or sometimes frozen lettuce. It gives you this perfect, sharp, wet, crunchy crack that just tricks your brain instantly.
That's amazing. And for thunder.
They'll often hang a huge, thin sheet of metal from the ceiling and just shake it. It creates this incredible low rumble.
So the main reason for all this is just to have a clean, controllable sound. No background noise, no wind, none of that.
Exactly. Pristine audio that you can manipulate perfectly, and that manipulation happens next, in the computer.
Right, the digital world. This is where sound editors take over.
They use all sorts of software to cut, stretch, and mix thousands of tiny sound files. They can clean things up, too. If the on-set microphone picked up a cough in the background,
They can just digitally erase it.
they can isolate that frequency and pull it right out. But the real magic is in layering.
This is where they build complexity.
Immense complexity. Think about a single punch in a movie. It's not one sound. It's maybe 5 or 6 layers.
What would those be?
You might have a wet slap, maybe from hitting a piece of meat. Then a sharp high-frequency crack for the impact. Then a low-frequency thud to give it weight. A little whoosh for the arm moving through the air.
And then the actors groan on top of it all.
Right. A big action movie explosion might have 20, 30, even more individual sound files all stacked together to create that one massive textured boom.
But what if you need a sound that doesn't even exist, like a sci-fi laser blast or a spaceship engine?
For that, you turn to the synthesizer. A synthesizer is an electronic instrument that just creates sound from scratch. It's not recording anything real, it's generating audio using electrical signals and waveforms.
So they're basically building a sound mathematically.
Exactly. They start with basic shapes, like a smooth sine wave or a buzzy sawtooth wave, and then they twist and warp them to create something totally new. It's how you get all those futuristic sounds.
I heard the lightsaber sound from Star Wars was made that way.
It was a brilliant mix of real and synthetic. They took the hum from an old film projector's motor and blended it with the feedback from a television set. They manipulated those two real-world sounds to create something iconic and otherworldly.
So cool. Okay, let's shift from the sounds themselves to the space the sounds are in. Let's talk about echo and reverberation. People use those words interchangeably, but they're different.
Very different. And echo is simple. A sound wave hits a single hard surface like a canyon wall and bounces back to you as a clear, distinct repeat.
You shout, hello, and a second later you hear, hello back.
Yep, reverberation or reverb is what happens when you have thousands of echoes all happening at once, bouncing off many different surfaces really fast.
Like in a huge empty cathedral or a cave.
Exactly. You don't hear a clear repeat. You just hear the original sound sort of hang in the air and slowly fade away.
And designers use this to tell us about the environment.
Constantly. If a character's dialogue sounds very dry, with no reverb at all, your brain just assumes they're in a small, cluttered room, like a closet.
But if you add a long, lingering reverb,
You immediately feel like they're in a massive open space. Without even seeing it, you know the scale of the room.
which brings up a really interesting idea. If adding sound effects tells us so much, what about taking them away? The power of silence.
It might be the most powerful tool they have. Suddenly cutting from a chaotic, noisy scene to dead silence is incredibly effective.
It creates so much tension.
Unbearable tension, or shock, or profound loneliness. It forces you to focus entirely on what you're seeing. The moment the sound stops is often scarier than the noise itself.
And it's also the most scientifically accurate way to portray outer space.
Right, space is a vacuum. There's no air, so there are no molecules to vibrate. Sound can't travel. So realistically, space is silent.
Movies usually cheat on that one for excitement.
They do, but they'll often use true silence for a moment of high drama, like right when an astronaut's helmet cracks.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Now, we've talked a lot about movies, but this all changes in video games.
Oh, completely. Games use what's called interactive audio. The sounds aren't on a fixed timeline. They're triggered by what the player does.
So if I walk on grass, I hear a grass sound. If I step onto stone, the sound instantly changes.
Exactly. And the game's code creates a full 3D audio environment. It calculates where the sound is coming from relative to you and how loud it should be.
If you're wearing headphones, it's incredible. You can hear an enemy sneaking up behind you on your left.
That's not just for immersion, it's part of the gameplay. Hearing those directional cues is critical information. It shows that sound isn't just decoration.
It's functional in the real world, too. Think about your phone.
Right. Those little pings and chimes you get for notifications are called earcons.
The audio version of an icon.
You got it. It's a sound that represents an action or an event, and it grabs your attention without you needing to look at your screen.
And it's even used for safety. Car companies spend millions designing the sound of a door closing. They want that solid, heavy thunk.
Because that sound communicates safety and quality to the buyer. But now, with electric cars, it's even more serious.
Because they're so quiet at low speeds.
Dangerously quiet. So they are now required to have artificial engine sounds, a sound effect played through external speakers so that pedestrians can hear them coming. It's a sound effect designed to save lives.
And to capture all these sounds, from the celery snap to the real world, they need some pretty special gear.
For sure. The main tool is probably the shotgun microphone. It's that long, thin mic you always see on film sets.
It's super directional.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
It's designed to pick up sound from one very specific spot and ignore everything else around it. That's how they can record an actor's voice on a busy street.
And they use those round mesh screens in front of mics, the pop filters.
Yeah, that's just to stop the little puff of air when you say letters like P or B. It keeps those sounds from making a big thumping noise in the recording.
So when you put it all together, sound effects are this perfect mix of physics, art, and technology.
It really is. It's all designed with one goal: to pull you deeper into the story and make you feel something. The next time you're watching a movie or playing a game, really listen.
Don't just hear the noise. Think about the Foley artist shaking a metal sheet or the sound designer layering 20 different files for one explosion.
You're not just hearing a sound. You're hearing a carefully built illusion.
Good luck with your studies, and we challenge you to start listening for the layers.